Hi guys, welcome back to Classic HiFi Reviews. So today we are looking at another Nakamichi cassette deck, and this is a very rare Nakamichi 700ZXE. So definitely one of the top-end machines with a lot of interesting features. This is definitely the first time ever I have seen one of them, and definitely also the first time obviously having this on the bench here. So I got this deck from a gentleman that has been collecting HiFi components for quite some time as part of his job. He was working himself back in the days in a HiFi shop, and some of that stuff that came back probably and was no longer used, or he was able to get a good bargain on, he purchased for himself, kept it. So this 700 ZXE probably haven't been turned on in more than 20 years, so you guys will be witness when it will be turned on the first time. So the customer asked me to do a bit of a service on this and get this back to original spec and fully functional. I'm a bit nervous about it because this definitely has a lot of features that most cassette decks doesn't have. So if you're familiar with the Nakamichi ZX9, so the X9 can do Azimuth calibration for recording. That is something that this deck can do as well, but it's doing this automatically. On the ZX9 you would do this then fully manually. It also would do all the bias and record level calibration for recording. It will do that automatically, store the settings then in its memory, and ready to be used then every time it's turned back on or the new calibration occurs. On the ZX9, for example, you have all these manual knobs that you have to twist and twiddle with and make the setting. So this is all a little bit more modern than from the ZX9. I believe it came out in 1982. It's a 3-head unit, obviously. It also comes, which is a novelty for me with Nakamichi, with a music search system. They call RAM, Random Access Music Memory. I don't recall any other Nakamichi deck I'm aware of that has this kind of system. You don't see all the functions and buttons and knobs on the front operating panel that it got, because we hiding a few of them here behind this guy here. You can clearly see that this was aimed more here at the professional level with different inputs for microphones, for example. There is also an external noise reduction option that you can plug in, for example, if you have a separate DBX system and you want to use that together with this deck, you could potentially do that. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to talk too much, and I'm sure we will touching on the functions of the deck as we are going through it and trying to get it going again. So I'm not sure what it does or doesn't do. So I plugged it already in. I haven't turned it on yet. Let's see if we have actual power. Okay, I think that's a positive that we got the power. So we got the digital counter here on top, the tape counter. We got the VU meters here. Nice. Then this is a bias setting. So this would be for type 2 tape, and it's also sitting on SX, which is type 2 tape. So I switch this here. It just goes off. Okay. Yeah. So this is normal position tape. Question would be if there's here a bulb missing, or if this is just how it's meant to be, that there's just nothing lighting up. Then we got the type 2 tape again, and that's the metal position. And I guess then for the bias setting you probably have to change that from here. Yeah, here's the bias equalization setting, and you can do that from this button here. Okay, alright. So that's already a positive. So now the question will be if we do have some function on the transport mechanism. I'm not sure what transport mechanism is used, but I assume it is the same classic Sankyo transport that you have with the Dragon or with the ZX9 or the 480, 580 series. So So you have to pull that here to the side, and then it just opens up. And I can see here the capstan is spinning. So both capstans are spinning. So this is a dual capstan deck. And as far as I know, it's direct drive. So that's good news. So if one of them wouldn't be spinning or both of them wouldn't, it would definitely indicate to be more of a bigger issue. So in our case here, that is actually looking pretty good. The heads do look like there's definitely some use to them, but overall I don't think that we are having any issues here, but definitely this will require a good amount of cleaning. So now the question definitely will be, after turning it on and seeing the capstan spinning, so I'm getting a bit excited. So the question will be if it will be actually playing. So let's just pop in a tape, and that's a normal position 1, and equalization, this one, and we hit play. And as you can tell, it is not starting with the playback. What I can hear is there is a motor spinning, and if this is same or similar transport, or this is EX9 or Dragon, then I know that there is just one belt that will probably be out of shape, and that would be the belt, what I call the logic control belt. I'm not sure how it's exactly called, but this is a belt that would go through the different operations like playback, rewind, and if this belt can't spin, it would not enter any mode in this. Under the circumstances now, what we want is we want it to enter the play mode, and it doesn't do it. Okay, when I press stop, you hear it just releases that the motor just stops spinning. So definitely the next step will be for us to open up the deck, have a good look inside. I'm really curious how that looks inside, if Nakamichi filled this huge case really all with electronics, or if you find there a big degree of emptiness. It would actually be a relief, because all of the other high-end decks, they're really packed with boards and electronics, and it makes it a little bit difficult to work on. Also curious to see if this deck still uses some of these orange caps. And these orange drop capacitors are known to go bad over time, so I think it's a paint that is becoming conductive that is around them. These are film caps, so they need to be replaced if we do find them, and we will do a thorough job because it's a high-end machine, and the expectation of the customer definitely will also be the one that this will be performing like a high-end machine. Okay, so for now, then enough talking. Let's get this thing opened up and see what we can find inside. Okay, so here we got the back side. There's also a battery, I just noticed. That's probably to save the calibration settings. So my guess will be that we need some replacement here. Ah, look at that. These are just some AA cells, and they don't look too great anymore. So this one hasn't leaked yet. Okay. And this one actually looks also alright. So we are lucky here, no battery leakage. For now I just put that back in, and yeah, before I start opening it, I just wanted to talk about the inputs here on the back side. So you got the line output and line input, and then here the different decoder or encoder in and outputs for playback and recording with an external noise reduction system. So they are referring here to a HiCom system, but obviously it could be anything else. And we also got, and that's also quite unusual for me on a Nakamichi deck, at least consumer grade didn't see that, but here you got left and right microphone input and blend, so something that goes across both channels with a single microphone or instrument or whatever. Okay, and we got also a wired remote control here. Okay, so let's open it up. So we got 4 screws on each side. It's a big case. Now the moment comes. So let's lift the hood off carefully. Okay, wow. It definitely does look quite packed. So let me use the other camera to get you a better idea. So what I can say is it definitely looks like the Thank You transport I mentioned earlier today. And yeah, so it's definitely quite packed, but these boards are fairly accessible. I can also remove more panels if I want. Definitely these brackets probably have to go if you want to do a further inspection of the transport, which would definitely be a good thing to do. But for now, I think the interesting bit is that particular belt that is preventing it from going into playback. I can just point you out where that is. So this is the belt here that I mentioned. So let me zoom in a bit. Okay. And here is the belt that will likely to be the one to require replacement. No, that's actually not true. Okay, so here we got the belt that is for the azimuth adjustment, and the belt that we have to replace for the different modes is this one here. So I think it's difficult to access that here from the top. Maybe you have a better chance to do that from the bottom, and see if we can just quickly do a replacement of that belt to continue our assessment here on that cassette deck, what's going on. This blue line here, that is also part of the azimuth adjustment mechanism, very similar to what we find in the ZX9, for example. You have to be really careful with this, because by all means we need to avoid breaking this. There's no replacement available for that. Okay, so let's open up the bottom of the deck and see if we can easily access the bits and pieces of the transport from there. Okay, so I just put that here up so that we can get to the back side of the cassette deck, and revealed an interesting piece of information out of the history of this deck. So there's a sticker here that says property of Auckland Recording Service. Yeah, so at one point in time it must have belonged to a New Zealand company. Not sure if it was in New Zealand, but yeah, that's just a bit interesting to learn about that. Okay, all right, so let's open it up. Here's the back, and yeah, so no, there's not much of access from the back side either. So the transport is kind of, I don't know, probably 10 centimeters away from the back side of this here. There's another bracelet here behind that circuit board. So I would need to remove the circuit board to be able to get access to the transport mechanism. Probably the easiest way will be to take off the front and see if we can pull out the whole transport mechanism, and do a bit more work on it. And while we are doing so, we also replace that belt. If that would have been a quick one to just replace that belt and to see what it does, I would have done it, because I just like to figure out what's going on with it as a whole as much as possible, before doing a lot bigger work on this spot. Okay, well, let's just let's just do that. Let's take off the front panel. Seems a bit scary because the front panel is massive. But yeah, on the other hand, a front panel is a front panel. So let's go about it. Okay. So we got these three guys here on the bottom. And then we got some here on the sides. There are two. So let's take these off as well. Alright. It's a bit of a workout working on this thing. Okay. This guy. And this guy. And then we might find us in a situation where we have to take off a lot of that other stuff. Still haven't figured out the best way to open it. I think I have to pull off just these little round knobs, but for the rest I might just be able to stay in place. So here on the bottom, start to move already a little bit. Better taking that away from here. Okay. That stays in place here. Excellent. Okay, so this back panel here will stay in place. So that makes my life a bit easier. Not so sure about this mechanism here. Probably has to stay down here, and I pull the whole thing off, or how does that work? We have to figure it out. First we have to remove a few more screws. Oh no, there's just one left here on the top. Okay. So that will also be a new one for myself. Okay. It moves. It would have been smarter to take off the door. There it comes. Okay. Okay, so most of the panel is easily to be removed. So we still have the lights, at least on the right side, which is just a view meter that is still in here. So I have to check how I can unplug that. So if we can unplug that, then we should be able to remove the entire front panel, and we should have access from the front. Okay. So one wire goes here to the back. And where's the other one? Brown one that goes here to the right side. Okay. So that's 66%. That's the third one. Third pair of cables. And this one here as well, obviously, the white one. To cut some cable ties for that. Okay, and this one here goes a little bit deeper into the device. Okay, we got that guy as well. So then for the remaining white one here, let's cut cable tie here on the right side. Another cable tie. Alright. Here we go. And I think now we should be able to move this. Well, we can't. But this whole mechanism here is holding it back. Okay. So we've got all wires off. But mechanically, There's one challenge left. How to remove that? Okay, well, let me investigate. Can this be kind of unhooked or something? Yeah, that's a bit odd design. So one hinge, the left one, is attached to the front panel, and this one here is held in place by that cylinder. But on the other hand, it's just really the bottom piece here. Okay, because I don't want to damage anything, let me just consult the service manual for the disassembly. And then we continue. Okay, so the removal was actually a lot easier than I thought. So to get rid of this guy here, all you have to do is you have to push here against it, and then it pops off that little thing here and holds it in place, and that's it. So it's really super easy when you know what you have to do and how you have to do it. Okay, so now I can close this carefully and pull out this guy. Okay. Thought it's a different cable, but it's just the one here in front. Okay, and carefully we can put the entire front panel assembly on the side. Okay. Yeah, that's a massive front panel. Okay. Good. So now we got a bit more access from the front. So here we can see it in all its beauty. Just putting this one back in here was not necessarily to be removed. Okay, so yeah, definitely a classic Sankyo transport that looks all quite familiar. And looking at the service manual, the removal procedure says that we have to pull it out from the back, so we can't pull it out from the front, which is a bit sad, but we have to remove the front panel to be able to do so, because there are these massive screws here that have to be loosened to be able to pull that out. I'm not sure if this panel also has to be removed. I'm quite happy if it doesn't have to be, but I think these are just electric push buttons anyway, so that should not be a major problem. If this is entirely mechanical, then sometimes it's a bit of a drama to line that back up again when you have to reinsert it into the machine. But now here are just some push buttons behind it, so that it will be easy enough. Okay, so here is another screw for the transport, and maybe we also have to remove this panel. But I'll have another look in the service manual for the removal procedure, and maybe we can then go ahead and take out the entire transport and just service it instead of trying to do any shortcuts. That might be the best course of action anyway. Okay, so I did some research, and so there are quite a few things that need to happen so that we are able to remove the transport. Once the transport is out of it, the actual fun part for me starts, which I really enjoy because I like to work on the transport and go through it. This is now a little bit of the hard work part to get that going. So mentioned earlier, there are 4 screws, and 3 of them are easily accessible. So we got 1, 2, and 3. And the 4th one is inaccessible at the moment because it's just behind this cover. So we will remove these knobs here. The other one can stay in place, and then remove the panel. So then we have access to all 4 screws, and that will completely loosen the transport already. But the problem is that we don't have enough space, so we can't really pull that far enough back to get the transport out. So that means that we also need to loosen the whole back panel of the case. So we also need to remove this circuit board holder then, because there are two circuit boards that need to get out of the way. And so this is power supply here, so we should be able to push that further back with the back panel when we are losing that. And these two circuit boards here, they have some weird plugs that are held in from the bottom. So I think that's probably what we want to do first, is unplugging these guys and remove this panel here. Then we remove the back plate, the circuit board holder. And so then we should have some space to get the transport out, and then we start remove the screws and to free the transport, and to be able to then take it completely out of the device, we also have to unplug 7 plugs of it. So then we can put the whole device pretty much on the side and can just concentrate working on the transport. So then we can pull out the capstans, clean them, lubricate them, change belts, and do whatever we consider is required to have this working beautifully again. Okay, so let's get onto it. So we need to unplug these guys. So these are all here all the way down. Okay, so they just pull off. So that's easy. One is left. Here we go. So I use our trusted tool here to loosen them and get all the screws. Oops. And here more, 2 more. And the last one. Alright, so I can slide this off here. Here we go. And really nice, I have some stickers on here. That's something they're always missing when you remove a front panel and you work on a device and you need to try some different settings, different tape type or Dolby on off or whatever, and then you have to take the front panel, get it back in your hands and look at it to figure out which of the knobs you have to use and which direction is then the setting that you're looking for. So that's really nice of Nakamichi. Now we can still operate these switches and know what we're actually doing. Okay, so that was the easier part. So now we are moving on to the bottom and have a look at these circuit board plugs. Okay. Alright. So maybe they are just inserted here on this unit, or I also have to remove this board before I'm able to access it. So I'm not really sure. I better have a look from the inside. When I look from the inside, I only see here actually one circuit board. It seems there are different versions of this unit. So then if that is the case, we can just pull that out by pulling it up and remove the bracelet here. So then that means for us that we can just go ahead and start removing the back panel. Probably I remove these braces here for that purpose. Not 100% sure because I like the fact that it's keeping these guys here in place. So let's try to keep at least this brace in here. Then we don't have to touch that here anyway. At least not for our transport repair. So let's go from the back. And we got a few screws here. Well, let's see how we go, how much we can move this and how much is really required. You can see you can slide that here, yeah. So that's already something they thought about. So that's really good to know. So then we just loosen this and we loosen this. and unscrew the rest of it probably. This you can just be loosened. There's a slot here. Okay, loosen it from this bracelet. Now we have to loosen this side. And this looks the same like on the other side here. I'll keep on doing this. I think I have to take the same one out here. And the other one here on the top. Loosen that one. Okay. So that's already pretty good. So then we got here another bracelet that is just in there. So I'm pretty sure we need to remove this fella here as well. Okay, and now we can move the back plate. Look at that! That was actually easier than I thought. So that's a bit of a relief. Got that thing split open. Awesome. So there are probably some cables that are not really very long. Okay, now it's getting definitely better here. Okay, alright, so now I can give you a glimpse from the inside. Probably I use this camera here and just move it across. Okay, so here you can see here we've got our back plate. And yeah, so that's how it looks like. And on the bottom we see here a few connectors. So it seems on this unit here it's rather easy to unplug that. So it's time to loosen the final bracelet and take out this circuit board here. Okay, easy. Just put that on the side here. Okay. So then we got here some labeling. So that's CNJ4. So that's really nice to have that, because it makes it easier for us then to reallocate then all these plugs once we are done with our work. Okay, so I'll wiggle this carefully. And here we go. So here we got the circuit board, and we carefully put it on the side. Okay. And yeah, now we definitely have quite a bit of room here in the back. So that's good to know. That's the plug we just removed. And there will be more plugs. As I said, we have 7 that are connected to the transport that we will have to remove. It's probably a good idea to think about that right now, because when we have it loose and it's wiggling around here, it's giving us a bit of a hard time. Okay. So I can see that there is definitely a plug coming in here. We got this one here. And this got a label. This one also has a label. So everything has a label. So that's really excellent. Thank you, Nakamichi. And so that side is loose. That's great. Then I see here another one coming down on this side. Okay, so that's unplugged now. Then there's a small one that is already unplugged. So that was probably part of our work before. Okay, so that is fine. So this here is actually for the front panel. And then we have hidden below here all these audio plugs for record and playback. So I remove them, just 2 of them. There was another one here that's related to that. Okay, Again, that's front panel. Okay, so I think we might be good already. I'm not 100% sure, but I guess we will see when I pull it out. We still have it somewhere attached to it. Yeah? So we don't have to worry so much about this guy here, because it will remain attached to the whole transport. And we just need to be a bit careful not to break it. Okay, here's another cable. It goes here into this circuit board on the far left. Okay. They are all unplugged. Okay, alrighty. So then it's time for the final act, and that is removing the 4 main screws from the front panel. So far, actually enjoying working on this unit. I'm a big Nakamichi fan anyway. Okay, number 1 and number 2. There it is. They are both same length, and these are 2 black screws. You can already tell that it is moving. Okay. And the last remaining one. Okay, that's another black one. Oops, sorry. Okay. So now it's time to pull that guy out. So let me move this around again. I hope that you can see what's happening. So that is all loose. Okay. It's already coming inside here. Okay. And as you can see, we got all of them. And here we have the entire transport, the ZXE 700. Okay, awesome. So now I will just move this here back into place. Okay, awesome. And put the main unit on the side, and then we will continue looking at the actual transport unit.